Hi everyone, welcome back. Okay, this is video 2 in this current retinol series. This is mainly department store, pharmacy, and then we'll go towards like a more specialised beauty retailer like a Space NK or a Sephora in the US, and then brands that are traditionally sold in clinics or spas type scenario. This, the demographic, I'm talking about as if they're people, but the demographic of this retinol is around a 0.2 to 3 to a 0.4-ish. The majority of them are a 0.3, and I will give you more info as we talk about them. Just to touch on the video, the previous video, I mentioned when I did the sort of starter video, as it were, that out of all of the brands, of which there's nearly 50, we only had 2 clinical trials, which I thought was a bit mortifying. One of them has since come back and confirmed it wasn't a clinical trial. It was indeed, as I suspected, a clinical study. So we're back to potentially 2. We think there's one more that might be a clinical trial because it's a professional brand. And I'm waiting for the confirmation of the other one. When I get those, I'll probably put them in the final roundup video. And the difference, in case you're wondering, is clinical trial can be done, it's done under very, very strict testing, conditions in a lab on various people. The really good ones will test patch testing on actual skin, and a clinical study could be anything from, Lou, did you like that retinol?
Yes.
That's a clinical study. It's a very, very different scenario. So where a brand has said, oh yeah, in clinical trials this showed, we have pushed back and said, was it your clinical trial or are you talking about the ingredient? We all know the ingredient works. So that's where we're at with that one. I'm going to start with one that I think buffers between yesterday's video of gentle starter retinol products and this video, which is slightly stronger and also slightly more available. Jordan Samuel retinol treatment oil. Called Jordan yesterday. He confirmed that we have him in the right area. They took the decision as a brand to take the percentage off their formula because they were extremely annoyed with brands who say things like, we're 6%, we're 5%, but actually when you dive down deep into the packaging, which I will show you whenever possible, it turns out that you literally have to divide that by a 10 when you get to how much is going to be delivered onto the skin. So the Jordan Samuel Retinol, I've recommended this for a long time, I've never had any complaints, is a brilliant retinol facial oil. It does contain retinol, not retinol palmitate, blah, blah, blah. And it is, I did this on the other video, so I'm going to do it here. It's here on the inci list, but it's a fairly small inci list. It's a lot of, because Jordan is looking to also sell in Europe, please God hurry up, his inci list has the traditional Latin name and then the English name, and that makes it look much longer. But that's not a long inci list for a retinol by any stretch of the imagination. So I love this, suitable for all skin types. Gentle, like I said yesterday with the starter retinols, it will take you longer to get there, but you will do it without irritation. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to jump straight into La Roche-Posay Redermic R Anti-Aging Concentrate Intensive. Looks like this. Packaging looks like this. Packaging is lovely. Excuse me, something in my eye. They have been, they've been, I cannot tell you how helpful as a group L'Oreal have been. They have answered every single question. If I push back, they came back with, oh yeah, that's because of this, and that's across La Roche-Posay and SkinCeuticals. So they said over the next few months we will be updating Redermic R to Redermic Retinol to help shoppers find it more easily. Very sensible. It is currently available in larger boot stores as a retinol. So this one says Redermic R, the new one you're looking for will say Redermic Retinol. Makes sense. And this is 0.1 pure retinol and 0.2 retinol linoleate. So this is a mild version. You're not going to get any, I can't say you're not going to get any, you shouldn't see any major irritation or reaction. The packaging is great, it's very, it locks tight, nice cream formula. Actually, it's a really nice smell, but it's not scented. Job well done, La Roche-Posay. So if you want to start somewhere and budget is your main concern, you could go here. And obviously there were some yesterday that were in a similar vein. I want to do the department store brands and particularly these 2 mammoths. So we have the Lauder group and we have Elizabeth Arden. The Lauder group did what they were also forthcoming with information. Thank you very much. The first one to market was the Clinique Fresh Pressed Overnight Booster with Pure Vitamin A Retinol. So obviously I went back and said, what kind of retinol? Not quite sirens with Hirons, but we're getting there in the traffic noises. So if you haven't seen this, it works the same way as a fresh pressed. As soon as you press it, it is then activated and you have a couple of weeks to use this up. This is not micro-encapsulated because of the packaging. So instead of encapsulating it, Lauder have put it all down to the packaging. Origins came next. This, I suspect, is also a 0.3. And the new Lauder one, I think, is out, if not right now, imminently. Rapid Renewal Retinol Treatment. So these three, this is what the Lauder group does. And actually, to be fair, it's not just Lauder. Any big conglomerate group that owns multiple brands, when they find the perfect formula, they give it to everybody. So I promise you that the retinol content of these, I can't promise. I would hedge a bet though. I would bet that the retinol content of these three products is almost identical. What will be different is the delivery system. So obviously Clinique is known for being fragrance free. These two aren't. This gives you a 2-week lifespan. They say that this is also not encapsulated, by the way. So very, very similar, different brands, same parent, if that makes sense. So you're going to go to your favorite counter. If you're a Clinique customer anyway, you'll love this. People who love Origins will love that this has been designed to be slightly more gentle, very Origins thinking. And obviously Lauder is the mothership. The packaging is really nice. It's a double-walled foil type scenario, but it's not airless because obviously there's a hole there, and as soon as you open it, and this goes for any packaging, not just this, as soon as you open it, you will get air into it. I would trust Lauder and the preservative system though, so I don't think you've got anything to worry about. It smells like a Lauder product. There you go. And if you don't know what that is because you don't use them, then you're not going to be affected, so don't worry. Elizabeth Arden were a bit more tricky. So here is the Arden packaging. You will have seen these. Now what's good about these are the capsules. Obviously you break one and then it's fresh and it's straight onto the skin. My frustration was I could not for love nor money get them to give me the percentage. Now what I do know is they will not do anything. Let's just do it. They will not do anything that this lot aren't doing. So I don't suspect this is higher than this for a second. Also, not telling me, and I have to give kudos to the PR team in London. It wasn't them. They were extremely helpful. It was a head office decision. Fair play. You're totally welcome to keep it on the down low. It just means it leaves it open to interpretation. So my interpretation is they're great for travel. They're great as a mild starter. They are a silicone base, so you won't have the irritation if it was just a straight emulsion going onto the skin. The inci list is not favourable. These are all one-word inkies, you're not going to be able to see, but these are one-word ingredients. They're not sort of like a double, here's the Latin, here's this, and the retinol is here. So my interpretation is it's well below 0.3. I would guess they would hedge between a 1 and a 2. If I'm wrong, you can let me know, can't you? See what I did there? Okay, this one I've talked about before. This is one of the first ones I spoke about in the sort of current modern retinol era. It's got to be 2 years ago now. Avon night treatment cream. You'll remember this. The first side is an AHA. You use that for a week and then you flip it over, and the side 2 is your retinol. Now again, this is a retinol. You're going to love this inky list. I'm telling you, I thought I had good eyesight until I started doing this. So on here, that part of the ingredients list is the retinol and this part is the acid. On this list, the retinol shows up here. It is a retinol. I do know what the percentage is, but Avon didn't disclose it. And when I worked with them a couple of years ago, I signed an NDA. So all I can tell you is I've put it in the right group. Make of that what you will. But as I've mentioned before, this has a different way of using it than the others, so you're going to switch it up once a week. Still a great product. I still get loads of people saying, I'm so glad you mentioned something that was available where I live. You know, a lot of people, especially, I think it's easy to forget, especially when we're in the UK, because a lot of us live near a big city. But especially in the States, you can go hundreds of miles and find small towns where people just don't have access to all of this lot. They have to travel to get something. So Avon are one of those people that bridge that gap. Well received. Bob's your uncle. Okay, 2 moisturisers that I'm going to jump into because they're very similar. What I like is that they are encouraging you to use retinol during the day, but they are not doing it haphazardly. They both put the retinol, micro-encapsulate it, and they put it into an SPF formula. The first one is DCL, Profoundly Effective A Cream. This is a retinol palmitate, so it's extremely mild to start with. It is mixed with a peptide that is encapsulated, so this, oh, I do love this cream, is not going to go off. It's just runny enough not to fall out, but it's borderline. This is an SPF 30, so if you want to keep up your retinol content during the day, on the mildest form, you could do this. Also, people have different lifestyles. I see people all the time who say, I can't really do anything at night, or I work night shifts, or da-da-da-da. This is a great way to make sure you're getting some form of a stronger vitamin A onto the skin that isn't just at an antioxidant level. DCL trust implicitly with their formulas, marvellous. This is MZ Skin, Dr. Mariam Zamani. She is a London-based derm. Age Defense Retinol Day Moisturiser, SPF 30 again. Now, she was very open about this product. It is in here at a level of 3%, but obviously once it reaches the skin, you're looking at more of a 0.3 again. So I've put it in this group because I don't want you to think when you see 3% on the label, if you used a 3% retinol, naked retinol, you would know it. Your face would be irritated, it would not go well. So what I appreciate is that it is a solid SPF formula, SPF 30, and obviously designed to be used during the day. And Dr. Zamani was very open about her formula and said, yeah, we put it in at 3%, and obviously by the time it buffers, we're looking at a 0.3. So that's and just again to reiterate from my very first retinol video, the EU recommendation for safety, for public safety, is 0.3 for anything over the counter. So there are some who go higher, but that's why when you dial down, someone might say this is 6%, but when you dial down, actually by the time it hits the skin, it's 0.3. I'll flag that up again when I can. Clark's Botanicals. This one, again, pure retinol delivery, as in it is not a derivative. It's a #1 retinol, as I would call #1. The next one up is prescription and retinaldehyde, not to confuse you, that's coming later. But this is Retinol Rescue Face Serum. Nice formula. You can get this in Space NK and in other places in the US. Obviously, it's a US brand. I like this formula. It doesn't smell, I know it sounds weird, but you know how some things smell like they might be really chemical heavy and they're going to be irritating? This doesn't do that at all. This has calming colloidal oatmeal. Maybe that's something to do with it, but I like to think I would have guessed it had something in it to be calming because it feels really lovely on the skin. So that is a nice one to go with. Two that are in the more every video got to knock something off the desk. Two that are in the more luxury end of the market in terms of if you like the brand, you will use the product. I wouldn't necessarily go there as a first retinol because it's more expensive. Temple Spa Trufflelixir Super Luxe Serum with retinol, black orchid and silk peptides. This is the only way to describe it is a luxury product. I'm not putting any prices in the videos. I'm going to link to everything below. I don't want the pricing to age the video, if that makes sense. This, although it's at the pricier end of the market, we did check the packaging, and the retinol, it is a retinol capsule that's in there, but it is at the lower end of the ingredients list. I did not get a percentage from these guys. But like I say, if I have emailed people and they responded, I'm going to do them the service of putting it in the video. Chantecaille Retinol Intense Plus in Botanical Microspheres. So this is micro-encapsulated. It is retinol. It's also niacinamide, vitamin C. This is the revamped version of their original retinol. I know what the percentage was of that because I used to work for Chantecaille a long time ago, 2 children ago, in fact. Like 2001. How is it 2019? Don't digress. So this is stronger than that. So again, you'll just have to trust me that it's in the right group, as it were. If you love Chantecaille products, you will love this retinol. It's super gentle. There's no change to how you use it. You would use this one in the evening. Okay, now I'm going to go on to ones that fared very well with the people I gave the information. Okay, so I gave the original questionnaires that came back to me. I gave them to people I know in the industry, people I have NDAs with. Don't worry, brands, it's all very tight. Cosmetic scientist, bioengineer, and just said, can you just have a look at this and see if anything flags up, anything that doesn't equate, or something maybe I've got something wrong. These 3 came back as good formulas, good information, don't make outlandish claims, solid places to start. That's not to say that any of the others did not also fare well. If there was anything atrocious, I wouldn't show you. These were just highlighted as we liked. So for example, Murad. The feedback on this was very clear on the claims, did not overpromise. It is retinol and retinol propionate, and this is the ingredients list, and it's up here. So that fared very well. Also, Murad is a doctor brand that I really appreciate. You'll have seen me talking about Murad before. The retinol content varies, and the retinol content varies between the three. So there's a moisturiser, an eye cream, and a serum. I just asked for the info on all three. So the content varies on all of them. If you want to go for one, start with the serum. That's what I was trying to say. Medicate. This is not the two higher priced ones. They're in a different group. This is Medicate Retinol 3TR Plus Intense Supercharged 0.3 Vitamin A Serum. What I liked about this, well, there's one thing I liked and one thing I thought, oh, don't do that. It's great. It's literally, you could use it as a booster. It's nice, really runny, liquidy formula, so you could apply it, leave it a little while, put your moisturiser on, go about your business in the evening. What I like is it is concise, it's simple. It says on the back, contains 0.3 retinol, vitamin E, clenbuterol, and squalane hydration. Always, always, always check the ingredients list, because the ingredients list is actually much longer. It's not overly long, but I just think there's no need to kind of highlight that you... I feel a bit like this is unnecessary because your INCI list is crystal clear. There's nothing wrong with your INCI list at all, and the retinol is comfortably above where you would want it to be. So for example, the phenyloxyethanol, which is always your trigger for 0.9% and below, is right down at the bottom. So 0.3, just a nice formula, didn't overcomplicate things, didn't overpromise. That was also good. The one I've been recommending the most since I started doing this, because obviously at the time I'm doing this, I'm doing events with brands in store. None of this is sponsored, nothing related to this. I'm doing a couple of PAs with Clarins. Clarins don't even have a retinol. There's no clash of, it's all very ethically done. But Clarins are also great because when I'm doing a Q&A, those people will say, what retinol should I use? And they're very confident in their brand. They're just like, we don't have one yet, have at it. This is my most recommended of the last 2 weeks. It's SkinCeuticals Retinol 0.3. High potency refining night treatment with 0.3 pure retinol. It is comfortable on the ingredients list. It's not full of nonsense, as it were. The packaging is really, really sound. It is airless pump, and the pump is solid. What the cosmetic scientist that I showed this paperwork to really liked was that they were very clear, again, didn't overpromise, fragrance-free, kind of things that just tick an extra box. And again, what I loved is that the PR was so completely open about the formula. They filled in the questionnaire, it was back within like 2 hours. So kudos to them. So in terms of what you can take away with this, in terms of, it's not that I have a favorite, these will all work. If you love Estee Lauder, you will love the Estee Lauder Retinol. If you're a Clinique girl, the Clinique 0.3 Fresh Pressed is awesome. If you want to wear it in a moisturiser and you have the lifestyle that where you just prefer to start somewhere milder, you can do DCL and MZ Skin. But the Murad, the Medicate, and let me hold them up because then it would just make sense, wouldn't it? And the SkinCeuticals were the sort of top picks from amongst the opinions, not just mine, of this group set, as it were. And then a special shout out at the beginning to Mr. Samuel, who is a good place to start, again, if you want something that's not quite so beginner, but is very comfortable and will not cause you any further harm, which is the whole point of it. I hope that was helpful. They're all going to be like this. It's all going to be a very, oh, we did this and then we did that. It's not going to be me just reading from a script. It's not how I work. It's not how we did this research. Any questions, hit me up below. The next group is, I'll probably just go for the next one up. So it'll be like 0.4 to 5 and then maybe above. It depends how many are left. If there's only like 3, I'll do more than one, but I've sensed there's much more. Take care. Thanks very much. See you soon.